everyone, it's Nicole from Crayons, Pencils, and Students Oh My, and I'm here today to show a Dollar Tree haul. I decided that it would be worth it to invest the money in some bins. I have this huge, really big cabinet in my room that houses all my extra supplies that aren't out to my students for them to be able to grab on a daily basis. Just things that we're not using because it doesn't go with the theme that we're working on, or they haven't learned that skill yet, so we're not using it yet. I put all those materials in this big cabinet that's in my room, and it tends to get a really, really big mess really quickly. And I found that when I'm staying after school later, it's usually because I'm cleaning up that huge mess that I have created throughout the day, because I just shove everything back in there. And honestly, when I packed up my room this year at the end of the year, it was a really big mess, and I just closed doors and didn't deal with it because I knew it was going to take me a couple of hours to clean, and I just didn't have the bins to organize it. So once Dollar Tree started coming out with some of the back to school stuff, I decided to go in and pick up some things to organize that in some other bins just that I thought could be useful. And I found a couple of school supplies items that I thought would be great. So let's get into it. The first thing that I got, I have them over here, so I'm going to be reaching a little bit. The first thing that I got were these, I guess they're drawer organizers, but what I plan on using these for is towards the end of the year, when the kids start to get a little bit cranky and can't deal with each other anymore because we've spent too much close time together. I realized that pencils and erasers were a cause of a lot of arguments. So I think I'm going to label these with each student's name and have them out instead of their name cards, and just put these at the table where they need to sit, and every child will get one pencil and one eraser. That way there's no, I don't have an eraser, there's no eraser on the end of my pencil. This will solve that problem, and I think it'll keep things a lot neater and organized, and I won't lose as many pencils to the custodian sweeping them off the floor when I don't realize that they fall onto the floor at the end of the day. So hopefully I'll end the year with some more pencils too, so that will be good. The next thing that I got was a bunch of these. I think that these are so useful. One way that I use these in the classroom is when we're doing cut and paste activities, I have the students just cut their scraps onto the table, and then we put them on the floor and sweep them up, or somebody goes around at the end and picks up all the scraps. But the pieces that they need, they put in these bins. That way they don't lose them. It works really, really well. And my kids are 3, 4, and 5, and they can do it. So I think that especially when I was teaching 4th grade, these would have been super useful, and I didn't even think about it. But they come in a pack of 5 now instead of a pack of 4, so it's a way better deal. And I got a bunch in blue. I took all the blues that they had, and at another Target they had red, and I grabbed red. The bins in my room for the most part are red, blue, and green, so I tried to stick with those colors. The next thing I grabbed were 6 of these bins. Now these are not letter size, these are kind of a medium size. I have these in the blue that I just showed you in my classroom already, and I use them for morning work, AM table activities, and PM table activities. And I teach pre-K, so I know that's a little bit different than upper elementary, but when I was teaching 4th grade, I was using one of those Sterilite drawer systems, but I realized that for me, with all the crafts and things that we were doing, it just didn't work. So the bins worked much better. I figured that I could use these for puzzles or for centers to put center materials in, and I just really thought that the blue ones held up really well, and I picked these up because I thought that they would be useful. So I grabbed 6 of those. Then I decided, this I grabbed. It's not for my classroom, but I found these white bins, and they're usually matte on the outside, but these ones were glossy, and I figured that I could use these in my pantry and in my linen closet at home, and it would help keep things organized. So I grabbed these for home while I was there. So that big closet that I was telling you about that's constantly a mess and I'm always having to clean up, this is what I found for it. I feel like this is going to work, and I might need more storage things, but I can always go back. They had these like food containers. And they came in packs of 4. Some of them came in packs of 3 and 2. But they were like the best bang for my buck. And I felt like for math manipulatives and like those little like ABC matching puzzles, they would fit perfectly in some of these. So I got 2 packages of the square ones. And then I found like these thinner ones that are like rectangles. I got 2 packages of those, and these were a 2-pack. And then I got these these are like the square ones, but they're rectangles, so it's a little bit bigger. And these came in a pack of 4 also. Like I said, when you go at back to school time, a lot of the stuff that comes in smaller packs during the rest of the year comes in bigger packs at back to school time. So these are like rectangular ones, and I got 4 packages of these because I thought that this was the size that I would need the most. And another reason why I got these is because right here is like the perfect place for like a nice label, and then when I look in my closet, everything will be labeled and I don't have to go rummaging through everything, and hopefully that'll help with like keeping the mess down. Then I got 2 of these, which these I might end up bringing back, because the reason why I didn't like these is because they're not like a perfect rectangle. Like they're kind of like they're like curved, and I feel like that's going to cause problems stacking the bins in that closet, and things are going to get knocked over. But we'll see how they work. If they don't work, I can always take them back and exchange them for something else, because you'll see after I finish showing you all these like SureFresh container brand things, I found something else to go with them that I think is going to work better than these that I just showed you, but we'll see what happens. And the last ones that I got that were the SureFresh brand were these really tall ones, and they're like really wide and about that big. So I think these will work really well with like Unifix cubes and stuff like that takes up more space. And I might just exchange those other ones for more of these. The last thing that I got for that closet, which I think are going to be super helpful, are these. And I kind of thought that $1 for each one of these was like a little bit much, but I think that it'll end up being okay. So they're like snap lid boxes like this, and they snap closed, and they're just blue. They had them in different colors. I think they had them in like a hot pink and a lime green, or maybe it was a purple, but I wanted the blue to stay with my color scheme. And they're like, I want to say they're like 8 inches by 4.5 inches, and they stack perfectly on top of one another. When you stack the one, like I mean you can if you really try, but they don't slide off. They stay stacked on top of each other. So I felt like for this in a cabinet, if I have a bunch of these and I have labels on them, that'll be perfect. So I got 10 of these. And then when I was walking through like the food container storage things, I found this tray. And I don't know, a lot of early childhood teachers use these for things like sorting. You can use them in the upper grade levels with like sorting money. You can use them for Play-Doh if you put the Play-Doh in the center and then you put all the different things around it. I know one of the teachers that I worked with this year used it in the winter time, and one of her centers was to build a snowman. She had white Play-Doh in the middle, and she had like buttons and little sticks and like orange beads for their noses. So that's one way that you can use them. I just think that this will be helpful in the classroom, and I can use it for a ton of different things. So I picked that up. And then I got, this is more onto like the school supply stuff now. I picked up Border, and I really wish that they had more of this, but I can only find this one pack. And it's called Wall Border. They had a bunch of different kinds. There was like Mickey Mouse ones, there were some rainbow ones. But my color scheme is really like red, blue, red and blue, and like yellow. So, primary colors. I want this for one of my, I just want to redo the border on something to have it be more plain and not as in your face. So this I picked up, and hopefully I can find another pack so that I have enough. because border is expensive. I looked on Amazon for some border and it was ridiculous. I think it was like $9 a pack. So if I can find a couple more of those, I will be really happy. And then I picked up, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I got 5 packs of these index tabs. My school does not supply us with like hanging file folders or like the tabs for your hanging file folders or manila folders or anything like that. We have to supply all those ourselves, and I spent a lot of time going through my filing cabinets at the end of the year this year and really reorganizing them so that when my duplicating, that's one thing that we do in our building, like we send out our digital copies to a printer that's in a different building, and then it gets delivered to our building once a week. So that's how we get our copies, and I need a place to store it all. So I had to rearrange my filing cabinets so that I had enough space to store all my duplicating. Anyways, I ran out of these and I really needed more, and they are very expensive if you go to Staples. I think that like for a pack of 20 of these at Staples is at least $4. I think it's like $3.75 or something. So I picked up 5 packs of these. It comes with 16 of the little tabs, and they will be very helpful. And if you're interested, I can do a video on how I rearranged my filing cabinets and how I organized everything in there. I think that it was really helpful. Like, I'm really happy with how it turned out, and so I can share that if you're interested. The next thing I got was a like twisty air freshener. I put this in my bathroom that's in my classroom, and there's like this like mirror vanity thing in there, and I just put it all the way at the top of the mirror so the kids can't reach it. I can't even reach it unless I stand on a stool, and it really does help to keep the smell at bay. The next thing that I got were 2 packages of these poster letters. I figured that I could use them for bulletin boards, and if I didn't use them for bulletin boards, I could laminate them. I could have the kids make words with them. I could have the kids make their names with them. I could have them sort them by letter. So I figured that I would have a bunch of uses for them, and I feel like I'm always needing letters like towards the end of the year, so I have those as backup. The next thing I got was 2 packages of these magnetic clips. I had really like big, like bulky, like free clips like from our healthcare provider that I got for free, which was nice because they were free, but they were constantly breaking and they didn't really hold up my anchor charts. I actually put my anchor charts up against my like metal radiator, so I picked these up for that. So I think these are gonna be really good, and they're like super, like they're really strong, so that should be good. The next thing I got was, well, let me show you this first. I picked up a pack of these Polaroid labels. This is what I use to label my library system that I use in my classroom. I can also do a video on that. The library system that I have the labels on the front with like the picture of the character that's in the book, and then I have the same exact label that I printed onto these, and I have like the template for on my computer, and then I put one label of each of these, so the children just have to match the label to the label on the front of the box. So I picked up some extra of these because there's definitely some books in my library that I haven't labeled yet, and I need to print out more. Then I picked up this folder. This is what was in it when I got it. It's called a Twin Pocket View Poly Portfolio. So what's really cool about this folder is that it's just like a 2-pocket folder, but on the front of it there is a plastic thing, and you can put a paper in it, kind of like a binder. And I used a folder this year. I know that I have a student data binder. I can put the link to it below in the description box in my Teachers Pay Teachers store, and I use a lot of those materials still. But I used that when I was teaching 2nd and 3rd grade and 4th grade, and now that I'm teaching pre-K, a lot of it isn't really like applicable to my students anymore, and I don't need a whole binder because I'm not doing running records on my students every quarter, and I'm not like a lot of that stuff that took up the bulk of the binder, I'm not doing with my students anymore. My district does something called Ames web testing, which I had a lot of paperwork for that needed to go into my binder for each student, and I just don't have that anymore. We use like this electronic assessment system called the Gold for pre-K, which I can also do a video on if you're interested. Just leave a comment below. If anything that I'm saying about like videos that I could do you're interested in, please leave me a comment, because I never know what you guys want to see, but I could definitely do a video on all this. So anyways, the binder really didn't work for me this year, so I switched over to a folder. So I just took my data binder cover and I changed it to say student data folder, and now I have my new folder for this year. And all I do is I put like all of their information for literacy on one side, all for math on another side. And I just have a checklist that I use for each student for the entire year, and it has every single month and all of the letters, letter sounds, same for numbers and colors and counting. So that's what I use for my assessment, my monthly assessments. Like I said, the Gold is something totally different that I do in addition to that, but those are just like my easy, quick monthly assessments. And, oh, the last thing that I got, oh, well, I did get 3 other things that I am going to put up another video about. It's about ideas for a recent college graduate that's going for teaching, that's going to be starting their student teaching, or if you have a student teacher that's just finished their placement with you, some ideas for gifts for them. I had a friend of mine that just graduated and is starting her student teaching in the fall, and I did pick up a couple things at the Dollar Tree along with something else. So if you're interested in that, watch that video. It'll be up after this one. But the last 2 things that I got were 2 hole punches. I got these because I found a new product that I'm going to be using with my students this year when we are doing Letter of the Week. And basically they use a hole punch at the Fine Motor Center, and they have to punch all the letters that are the same as the letter that we're learning about. These are really hard for pre-K students and kindergarten students to use, and it really helps get their muscles in their hands developed. This helps with like their writing and making sure that their writing's neat and that they have the muscles in order to hold a pencil and to actually start, like in kindergarten when they have to write 3 sentences by the end of the year. It really helps them to be able to have the stamina to do that. So whenever I find like a good fine motor activity, and by the way, they love hole punching. Kids love it. So whenever I find a good fine motor activity, I try to find a bunch of different ways to do it. So hole punches, perfect for pre-K and kindergarten. I picked up 2. And the metal ones like this are honestly the best. And if you can find the ones even that don't have the little thing that catches the papers, I know it makes a mess, but the kids play with those sometimes. So we'll see how it goes. And the only other thing that I wanted to share with you, that was it for what I bought at the Dollar Tree so far this summer. I'm not planning on buying a whole lot more, except maybe a few more of those bins, because I did get this paper when I checked out. And it says Sunday, July 16th, so in a couple weeks, they're having their friends and family event, and it's 10% off your purchase of $10 or more, which I know it's only like 10 cents on every item, but like this is a good deal. So I might pick up a few more bins for that really big filing cabinet, or big cabinet, wooden cabinet that I store all my extra supplies in. And I might pick up some extra bins for my cubbies. I'm definitely going to take advantage of this. All you have to do is spend $10 more and they give you 10% off of everything. So, Sunday, July 16th, if anybody is interested. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you liked it, please give it a like, subscribe, and